What's up, guys? My name is Adimo Kingsley, and I want to welcome you guys to my brand new YouTube channel. Here, I'm going to be posting my forex journey and analysis, and just everything about my forex life, mostly about forex life. I won't in fact be posting about any other thing if not forex. It's going to be about my journey. It's going to be about my ups and downs, my good and bad, everything. All right, and I'm going to be showing you guys in this particular video, which is the first, just about my trading style. I have a trading style, and that is right now I have a trading style, and that is a very important thing that every trader should have, a trading model. Guys, on the screen, what my trading model looks like. It's nothing much. I just did the normal price action, the normal double tops, double bottoms, head and shoulders, patterns like that. Just the casual chart patterns and candlesticks patterns with a little bit of trend continuation or trend inverse. Just what your thoughts when you entered into forex, those higher highs and higher lows. That's what I just trade, and I want to show you guys how I do them. I also like you guys to subscribe and follow up for my journey. It's going to be a very interesting one because where I'm heading to is actually at the top. Honestly, I can see it clearly. I can see it clearly in my mind. So I want you guys to like and subscribe, and let's see how it goes. So let's get into the video. All right, guys. I'm going to show you guys what my strategy looks like, and I'm just going to go to a brand new chart. So let's get which pair. I can use any pair. Let me just say um let's use GBP USD on another server. Okay, still taking time to load. Still taking time to load. All right, so let's use the IC market server. I think I like IC market. IC market is the broker I've used before, and they were pretty much good. All right, so guys, the first thing I usually do is to come to the higher time frame, which is the weekly or the monthly, and those zones, those areas are just to plot zones. All right, I don't do any alliances there. I just come and plot key levels, so as for me to be aware, and this is how I go about it. I come to the weekly time frame, as you can see, and let's make this bigger. All right, and I just try to plot key zones. What are key zones? Key zones are areas of interest. All right, they're just simply support and resistance on the higher time frame, but key zones. All right, so I plot them on the higher time frame, and I have different tools in which I use in plotting them. This is a tool I use in plotting for that of the weekly. I use this rectangle tool. You can see it at the bottom left there, the rectangle tool. I don't know what it's going to look like for you guys, whether it's at the right, but for me it's at the bottom left, and my cursor is around it. So I click on it and I do this, I drag it all the way here. All right, I drag it all the way here. It helps me just plot out key levels. Why it's important. All right, I just want to always know what levels the market at, because you don't want to be trading into, if it's a downtrend, you want to be trading just directly into a support, and uptrend you don't want to be trading just directly into a resistance. You want to be trading out of them or to them, not just you are at a support and you want to sell at a support. No, that's really going to take you really crazy. It's going to take you crazy places in this trading. So yeah, this is the first thing I do. I try to draw as much key zones as I can see, neat ones. So this is what I do. Remember guys, this is about my trading and what it's going to look like. So yeah, this is good. So how I try to draw it as is that I try for it to always be at, it's a zone. Key zone is a zone, it's not a line. So that's why I like to use this tool, because it makes it look like a zone for me. So that means what I'm trying to say is that this area now is a zone, it's an area of interest, a key zone. Whenever market got here, it pushed down, it got again, it pushed down, came here, broke it, went down, broke above, went up, came here, held. Let me push it up a little bit so as to cover here. All right, yeah, good. So it came here, held, pushed back, came here, hit it, broke it, and now has been holding until now. So right now we are actually in the key zone on the weekly for the pound dollar. So now what next thing I do is to actually just look at, this is the immediate key zone. So I look out to see if there are other key zones, that I can plot. So what I do is that I just click on the right, just click on the right of your mouse, and while you click on it, you just clone it. You just clone it, easy peasy guys, very simple. Just clone it, and you can see that you can drag it to maybe an immediate area. All right, is this one? Yeah, sometimes another thing guys, sometimes they might be very neat to see, sometimes they can be somehow tricky. You can't really view, you can't really see it very clearly. So, and that will come with mastery, because I've been in the market, so I know what I'm looking for. But for you, if you're a beginner especially, it might be very difficult for you to see, because it's a little bit always tricky. The first one I drew was very simple, you can see it was very clear. But this second one now, it's a little bit tricky, but that will come with mastery. That will come with time. When you've been able to stay in the market, you know how to plot them properly and very, very, very neatly. So right now, why I kept it here is that you can see market has held here. Also here was a zone, here was also another zone, here was a zone, here was a zone. So I mostly look at where it's touched mostly. All right, mostly. So I think I'll end with here. And there are other ones. Let me click another one. Clone. We're just gonna clone it. Clone. I'll just drag the clone to. This is another key zone I can view here. All right. It held here. It held here. It held here. Now you're gonna see some places where it doesn't. It breaks it. But what you want is that it gives it a lot of touch, makes it a key zone. All right. So now this is how I plot my areas of interest or key zones on the weekly. So next thing I do is to go down to the daily. Remember, I've not started trading or tried analyzing. I'm just plotting normal key zones. So next thing I do is to go to the daily time frame. And now on the daily time frame, I plot what I call minor key zones. All right, this is for the daily, because I always want to know where the market is at these higher time frames, so I can be able to judge my decisions from there. So on the weekly, I know we are in the key zone on the weekly. Now on the daily, I also have a key zones on the daily, but I also use a different um, tool for it. I use this tool that is called the rotated rectangle. I click on it, and I try to look out for same thing I look out on the weekly. Those key zones, those areas of interest in the market has touched more than, mostly I like to see 3 touches, mostly 3 touches, but 2 is fine, but 3 is perfect. And we can see here the market has touched here, touched here, touched here. You can see it touched here as a resistance, touch here as a support, as a support, as a support, as a support too. So this makes it a key zone. Now you can see that this place was an area of in the weekly and also on the daily. And the same thing is what I'll do. I'll also go to other places, but mostly I like to do the immediate one, the one that where the market is at right now. All right, so going further to maybe areas like this, it's just maybe you just trying to just master your plotting of key zones. All right, but for me, not necessary. The market is far, far away from there. Like we are on the daily and look at where the market is. So for me, this is not necessary. But you can go ahead as a beginner to plot it, just to be able to master plotting your key zones on a daily. So now, right now, as I am mostly plotting this thing now on the daily, listen, on the daily is where I start to look out for the trend. Weekly, I don't care about the trend on the weekly. All right, I'm a day trader. I'm mostly just an intraday. Sometimes I hold for a day or two, but I don't swing it. So I don't really care what's happening on the weekly. What I care about, what is the trend of the daily. So now once I get to the daily is where I got start taking to analyze. I start analyzing on the daily. You know what I mean by that. So now on the daily, I start looking for what is the trend. Is it bearish? Is it bullish? Is it ranging? Or is it just choppy? This is where I start to look out for the trend on the daily. Weekly, just key levels. Daily, I start to look for trend, because that's where my analysis start. So I start to look at what trend are we at right now. Right now, currently, GBP USD, you can see clearly is ranging. It's not going up, neither is it going down. How do I know? All right. So now look at this. We have an uptrend here, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, not up, and then a down. And then you can see this just continues for a very long time. The market is not just heading in right now. All right, from here to here, it was ranging, it was bullish, but right now it's not doing anything. but we can still say it in a bullish market, but right now it's not doing anything. So this kind of market, I mostly will stay away from it. I hate my in fact, not that I hate, my strategy usually don't works on a on a ranging market. It works very well on a trending market. All right. So now on the daily, a trend is not my friend right now. It's ranging. Now I have a strategy how I trade the ranging market, but that's not about this video. That'll be in another later video. Right now, just showing with what my real strategy is just like. The rest is same objective, is the same style I use. Because if it's ranging, no, I don't want to get into ranging. Let me not talk now. I don't want to get into ranging. Just know this is just not a ranging. This is not a trending market. This is a ranging market right now. You can see from here down to here, the market is just ranging. There's really no direction right now. So now I've plotted one key zone on the weekly, plotted key zone on the daily, and okay, let me plot another key zone on this daily. I put another key zone on this daily. Clone, just simple. Go to clone. We can see the market has touched it, but this is twice. So this just show you that it's actually just a ranging market. It's just been going up and down, no really clear direction. So now, what's the next thing I do after plotting that on the daily? Now I know that the trend is up, so I should be looking for an uptrend. Even check the weekly. The weekly is also an uptrend, but I really don't always care about that. I don't really care about that. So we go to the 4-hour time frame. Now on the 4-hour time frame, this is where things get very serious, because this is where my main time frame is actually the 4-hour. This is where I spend most of my time in the 4-hour and the entry. My entry is usually the 30 minutes or the 50 minutes. So I spend most of my time on the 4-hour, 30 and 50 minutes. 4-hour is mostly very strong time frame. So now on the 4-hour, what do? I look for the same trend. What's the trend on the market? Just like I looked up for the daily. Now if the daily and the 4-hour matches, perfect. If the trend of the daily matches with that of the 4-hour, that is my best, that is my A plus setup kind of trade that I would consider looking out for. GBP on the 4-hour is downtrend. Yes, it's downtrend. How do I know? Look at this. It's an immediate downtrend. Down. Let's clear this. So we see we have a higher high, a higher high. Sorry. So we have a high and a low. A higher low, a lower low. A higher low, a lower low. A higher low, a lower low, and then we have this push to the upside, which we cannot really see a clear trend. This is just probably for me a sweep of liquidity, and then we have this push to this. We have this push down here, which I believe will keep up heading down, but that's for another day. So the daily is uptrend, the 4-hour is a downtrend. Now I forget to put this for you guys too. I also draw key levels on the 4-hour time frame. Now I use this one called the parallel channel. I have why I differentiate them is so that I don't need to always be going from time frame to time frame. I just know that when I just see the color, I know what time frame it is. I know that the blue line, the blue key zone is mostly on the weekly, the brown one is on the daily, and why this parallel rectangle which I use for the 4-hour is on the 4-hour. So this is where I draw my key zone on the 4-hour. How do I know? Market has resisted or held here for a lot of times. It held here, it held here, it held here, held here very well, held here, and you can see it is also holding here. You guys can see it is also holding here. So this is a downtrend market on the 4-hour, but if daily is an uptrend, it doesn't rhyme, it doesn't match. So this kind of trade, I would probably not consider wanting to take this kind of trade, because it doesn't just match my analysis, it doesn't match my trading style. So instead, what I usually would do is just leave it like that. To go to another pair, and meanwhile I trade a lot of pairs. I look at a lot of pairs, not I trade a lot of pairs, I look at a lot of pairs. So you can see all these pairs by my right. I look at all of them. The ones you see on red folders are the ones I'm watching, because they are giving me potential moves and you can see the GBP USD, yes, is giving potential move, yes, but I'm telling you that it's not aligning with the daily and the 4 hour, blah 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 blah. Yes, I'll tell you guys why in this video, why I'm looking out for trading, taking a shot on the pound dollar. Now let's go out to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we are seeing a pattern which is called, first of all, let's go to the weekly. On the weekly time frame, we are seeing a pattern which is called the double top pattern form. It shows a trend reversals according to price action laws and regulations or rules. It shows a down a change a trend change. And then on the daily, yes, we can see it ranging, but we can start seeing this continuous break of structure. All right. Now, why I say I considered it ranging was because it's not very clear yet. So I don't want to assume that the daily is in a downtrend. But we can see this structure trying to form. You can see this low was broken and this one was broken, which shows that that is a downtrend. Remember, in a downtrend we need to see two consecutive lows, and in an uptrend we want to see two consecutive highs. So now we have seen two consecutive lows. Just like it's not clear, so I cannot really say. I like when it's so clear. When it's like it's so bright, you can see this. A 7-year-old can tell you. That's when I like to really tell to people that okay, we are downtrend. But right now, it's not really too clear. That's the first one. The second reason is that we can see this head and shoulders pattern forming here. You can see the left head. You can see the wait a minute. So we can see the left head. We can see the head, and then we can see the right. Sorry, I say shoulder. We can see the right shoulder form. So we can see also on the daily we can see a change of a pattern, a trend change, which is the head and shoulders. All right, we can see head and shoulders on the daily. You can see a double top on the weekly, and then on the 4 hour we can see a downtrend. What does that tell you guys? That the pound dollar is likely to be a down movement. Now, actually, I was on this trade on Friday, but I closed because I don't always mostly like to. I told myself I won't be holding trade over the weekend because I don't want to be holding trade on Mondays. Because I find that I used to lose a lot on Mondays, and it was because of my excitement. And I don't know, it was one of the reasons. So I decided not to always be trading on Mondays. So now you can see that three things have aligned for me to want to take this trade for a sell. One is that on the weekly, double top, which is a trend reversal. The daily, we are seeing a head and shoulders pattern, which is also a trend reversal, and then we can see a somehow downtrend formation forming, but it's not to be confirmed. This kind of trade, I will tell newbies to stay away from it. But someone like me, I'm not a newbie. I will likely take this kind of trade. I will likely consider not take this kind of trade. I will likely consider this kind of trade. So now we are seeing that we are all aligned downwards, not perfectly though. So we can see a downtrend forming. And now the second thing is that second part of my trading is that whenever I am to be taking this trade, it has to be from an area of interest, AOI or POI, point of interest. Let me write it down for you guys so you guys can jot it down. So AOI or POI, point area of interest or point of interest. It must be. I cannot trade from no man's land or nowhere. It must be from an area of interest. I must see an area of interest that I can trade from or to. That is my rule, and it has been working for me. I've been making money from this kind of trade, this style of trading. So this area of interest is what exactly? It's simply support and resistance, or Fibonacci, or trend line. These are my area of interest. But one, it cannot be only just one. It has to be at least two, at least minimum two of these things must join together to tell me to sell. But I mostly always trust the support and resistance, clear support and resistance. So now, why will I be taking this trade for a sell right here? We can see we are in an area of interest. All right, we are in an area of interest. So now we've reached the area of interest. What is the next thing? Do we just take a trade from the area of interest? The answer is no. Now is where our chart patterns is where our entry confirmations come from. What is my entry confirmation? Simple. I use two things for my entry confirmation. I'll tell you the third one later on. The first one is I use chart patterns for my entries and also use candlesticks for my entries too. Which candlesticks do I use? I mostly use the engulfing candlesticks, the pin bars, and the morning stars. And then for my chart patterns, I use head and shoulders and just double tops. That's all. Those are the two chart patterns I use. And sorry, and also wedges. I use wedges. The rising wedge and the falling wedge. I use wedges too. I really want to show you guys what wedges mean, but I don't know. Is there any wedge here? Is there any wedge? Can I say any wedge? Any wedge? Any wedge? I hope you guys know what a wedge is. If I'm talking to newbies, I think they shouldn't know. Alright, let me just draw a wedge. I can see a wedge here. Oh, this is not a neat wedge. A wedge is more of like this. Let me draw it for you guys. The market is going up, going up, going up. Bam, bam. And then we see this. Close. You see this. This is a wedge. So now what you want to see in a wedge is probably if it's in the uptrend, you want to see it break the uptrend to the downtrend. Alright, I think I'll make a video for wedge for chart patterns and how to use that. I'm just showing you my pure chart patterns, actually my pure trading style. So now the second thing, we need a point of interest. Let me write it down. First thing we need is trend. We need a trend. Second thing is an AOI. AOI. That's what we need. Now the third thing is what? An entry. We need an entry. A trend, an AOI, and an entry. This is what we need to take a trade. So now we have a trend, a downtrend on the 4-hour. Why? Remember, the daily is showing us a somehow downtrend. I know that sounds tricky with a head and shoulders. Those things makes it more solid. The weekly is showing us a double top, and now the day on the 4-hour we are seeing a downtrend formation. Right now you can see this is a downtrend, and now second we are in an area of interest. All right. Now what is the entry? The entry is simple candlesticks or chart patterns, and I look out for these things from the 4-hour downwards to the 15 minutes. So far as I go to my trend and I go to my area of interest, I look out for entries from the 4-hour down to the 15 minutes. But mind you, always prioritize the higher time frame conferences down to the lower time frame. So if I see an engulfing on the 4-hour and yet I'm not seeing entry on the 4 minute on the lower time frame like the 15, 1 hour, 30 minutes, I'll still take the trade. I believe the 4-hour time frame is almost solid. So now what will make me take this trade is that we are seeing an engulfing candle, a bearish engulfing candle going on here, this one here. I actually took this trade on Friday, but I got out of the trade because I don't like to hold my trades over weekend. I just started that currently. I want to stop holding trades over weekend. I'm trying to do that. I'm still trying to learn to do that. So I got out in a $2 profit, just a tiny profit. So now we can see this engulfing candle happening here. So what I'll just do is I'll take my trade here. I like to wait for a little bit pullback, and it's actually affecting me sometimes waiting for that little bit pullback, because sometimes it doesn't always pull back and it leaves me, but I'll still hold that with that. So now I will have taken this trade because of this engulfing candle and looking for one. I like to go for 1:3, but if I see potential of giving it more than that, I will try to go with that, but mostly it's 1:3 I like to look out for. So now this is exactly my trading style. Simple. And why do I target? I target the next structure. The only bad negative thing about this trade is that we are in an area of interest. So we might likely see the market pull back down here and find difficulty to break here. That's what I'm anticipating to see. And market will find difficulty breaking it because we're in a daily key level and also a weekly key level. So we might find it difficult to break this zone. So this kind of market, once I get the market to come down here, I'll put my trade to break even, because this is a obstacle we can likely see. But the next level target is supposed to be here, but this area of interest, there's a lot of obstacle blocking it. So is that, guys, this is exactly how I trade. Is simple price action, nothing much, nothing less. It's just simple price action, and it's how I trade and treat all other pair. So guys, what I'm trying to do is to introduce you to my channel, like and subscribe, And simple. It's for free. You don't pay a dime for subscribing. Just smash that button right there, subscribe, so that will help you get notifications when I'm uploading new videos and keep up with my journey. Especially if you want to learn. I'm a very, very, very good person to learn from. If you don't know. So thank you very much, guys, for staying all this. Thank you very much, guys, for staying up to this point, and see you next week. Peace out.